Good evening from Gorgie. We're in Scotland's capital on St Andrew's Day to bring you another blockbuster of a fixture from the Ladbrokes Premiership. Tonight the race for European places gets our full focus as two of the biggest teams in the land go head to head at Tynecastle again.
Harm to Midlothian and Rangers on the collision course. And it's Naismith! Time to go! It is a scene of pure maroon. Solbert strike one now. That is a superb strike. And it's a red card. Hearts holding Rangers feet to the fire. Jelinek on the volley.
Hearts and Rangers meet for the first time in 15 months and for the first time in the top flight since April 2012. It's a fixture the Premiership has missed, but it's back on the table and we bring it to you live on BT Sports. Kick-off here is 7:45. One look at the table and you know how significant a night this is. Rangers are now in second place, but Aberdeen trail them by just 2 points and Hearts are one further adrift. The Gers arrive here after back-to-back wins. It's worth bearing in mind only the top three will be guaranteed a shot at Europe next season, so there's plenty on the line here. What an occasion this should be. There's something very special about games under the floodlights here at Tynecastle. The former Jambos captain Michael Stewart knows all about that. Kevin Thompson, the ex-Rangers player, is also here tonight alongside Stephen Craigan. We should start with the news of the week, the news of the day if you like. It looks like Robbie Neilson will take charge of Hearts for the very last time because he's spoken to MK Dons. It seems like a deal has been done. The club here, Hearts, have confirmed nothing tonight. But Michael, given there's a game of this magnitude on and he was allowed to speak to MK Dons yesterday, you'd have to assume it's close.
I would be astonished if the deal wasn't done at some stage tomorrow or Friday. It's perplexing that it's the timing of it, but I think, you know, as you said there, the fact that he's been down to speak to MK Dons yesterday, I'd be astonished if the deal wasn't pushed through. So
there is a big surprise factor for you that this has all happened so quickly. And what about the fact it might be a League One club he goes to and a club who are struggling right now, although big potential there clearly?
Yeah, it's that whole conundrum of, you know, wanting to go down south and the timing and the right club of it. Look, I think we've spoken about the timing. I don't think it is the right time. There was a press conference on Monday. There wasn't any questions about it. It came out of the blue. The club released a statement on the Monday. I think that they could have easily, you know, kept it under wraps until after this game. The fact that he's going to a club who are struggling, they're 19th, they're 2 points off relegation. Their average crowd is only about 9,000. You know, this club here at Hearts, they're a big club. You know, he's not won a cup yet. There's this whole debate about has he done everything he can do at the club. He's not won a cup. He's never been a semi or a final. He's not had a European run. They're about to build a new main stand. There's a lot of positives around this club at Tynecastle here. And for me, I think it's the wrong time. I hope, if he does go, that he's successful. But there's a lot of question marks over it, and I don't think it's the right move.
That makes me wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
He was at a board meeting last week.
That makes you wonder what is happening with Craig Levein, what's happening with Anne Budge. You know, the statement was released last weekend that he had to finish third, which is almost equal than what he'd done last season, for it to be a success, or it's going to be a failure. So you wonder, does that put doubt into Robbie's mind? Does he have conflict with Craig Levein? Is it a bigger financial package going down south? It probably is.
Oh, it will be, there's no doubt about that.
So it's an opportunity, he's thinking, a stepping stone of potentially going into Championship, potentially going into Premier League down south. So I understand why he's going to do it. But what I will say is he will never get as big a job in Scotland again. Hearts is a huge club with a huge following, huge tradition. So is it a gamble? I think it possibly is.
You know, in terms of preparations for tonight though, Kevin, it's a disaster really for the club. They play Rangers twice in 10 days, and if you were a player in that dressing room, what would you be thinking if you know your manager's leaving, if that's the case?
Yeah, you'll be disappointed, especially as a younger player, or a player that Robbie's obviously brought in. I think first and foremost, he's moving to a club that's smaller than Hearts. I know it's going to be financially beneficial. I know he's going to get a bigger salary, but you know, I would like to have seen us keep our good young managers and try and progress them in the game, and I think he had that perfect platform here at Hearts to do that, and you know, I'm disappointed to see that he's going to be moving on.
You know, Stephen makes the point about, you know, the potential of or what's going on behind the scenes, the director of football role here. But down at MK Dons, you've got a guy who's head of recruitment, who's the chairman's son. So there's question marks surrounding that club as well. I mean, yes, it looks as if the chairman's not trigger happy. He gave Carl Robinson a lot of time.
Yeah.
So that'll be something that's at the forefront of Robbie's mind going down as a young manager. He's going to get time to do the job. But as I said, I can't underplay how big a club Hearts are. We've spoken about this, and there's still a lot to be achieved at this club. So it surprises me if it does get done.
I'll come back to that in just a second. We shouldn't forget there's a very big game on here tonight. Let's get to the team news. Hearts are unchanged from the team that defeated Motherwell 3-0 at the weekend. No wonder they played well in that game. Callum Patterson came off with a head injury. He's okay to play tonight, and Bjorn Jonsson leads the line again after the 2 goals. As for Rangers, 2 changes from their team that won at Partick Thistle 2-1 late in the day. Joe Dodoo, who scored 2 goals late in the match, gets his start tonight. Joe Garner drops to the bench, and there's a first start from Matt Crooks in midfield. Josh Windus must be injured, he's out. Matt Crooks is interesting as a former Rangers player, making your debut at a ground like this. It's quite a tough introduction, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. This is certainly getting thrown in at the deep end, to say the least. But I'm pretty sure it's one he's going to relish. He'll look across his changing room and see that Windus has done really well since he joined the club, and he'll be trying to emulate what Josh has done. He's took the league by storm, and it's a big opportunity for Matt tonight.
Michael, I think what it is, he's a big presence, and when you come to Tynecastle, and we've seen Hearts, I saw Hearts at the weekend against Motherwell, putting lots of crosses into the box, strong at set plays going forward, Darryl. So you need physical, powerful players. It'll be a baptism of fire. If he thinks he's played in the game before where he's had little time in the ball, tonight will be as fast a game and as furious a game as he's played in. But he has to go and make it count and show he can play at this level.
I think that Stevie makes a good point there. There's a lot of teams that come to Tynecastle and they go with bigger players because there's this perception of a physicality in the Hearts side. And Matt Crooks is a big guy. He's a strong player. But the other point is, Tynecastle's a really small park, and when you're playing in the middle of the pitch, you can all of a sudden find yourself with no time, lots of bodies on top of you, and it can be a very difficult place to play. Yeah, big opportunity for him tonight. Right, let's just go back to the Robbie Neilson situation. We're hoping to hear from him ahead of the game. Chris Sutton and Terry Butcher are with us tonight, our co-commentators for the night ahead. Guys, what do you make of this, the timing of all of this, and the move potentially for him as well?
Well, my view is, Darryl, I'm not surprised Robbie Neilson will go to MK Dons just because of the stuff Anne Budge said. Anything less than third wouldn't be good. I think Robbie's seen that. And he's done well at the club. He's got them up. He's stabilised the club. A third place finish last season. I think, he's done well. It's no surprise to see him moving on. Terry?
Yeah, I had the chance when I was at Inverness to go to Barnsley, and the money they were talking about is probably similar to what Robbie's going to get at MK Dons, and I didn't go, and I don't regret it at the time, so I felt I had a job to do at Inverness. Didn't quite finish that job. Hibs came along and I moved then, but as a manager, you've got to look at what the chairman said and what the fan base is and everything else like that, and sometimes you feel, well, I've got to do this because it's I owe it to my family.
Michael Stewart has a question for you guys. Michael?
I think Chris is making the point there in terms of what Anne Budge has said, and you've got to take that into account. I understand that, but to finish third at Hearts, it's not as if that's an unrealistic achievement to get. And as I said before, there's so many things that can still be achieved at Hearts. Not been to a semi, not had a European run, not won a cup. There's a young, they've got a training base up at Riccarton. It's now the National Performance Centre for Sport. They've got the potential to rear youngsters for the future. I think at 36-year-olds as a coach, you've still got a long time ahead of you, and I don't think that it's the right time. And I think it's take into account what Anne Budge said, but I don't think that should be the defining factor in his decision.
That's the longest question in the world there, Michael.
It was more of a statement, Chris.
But what I would say, I think there are elements of the Hearts support who have been on Robbie's back as well, and he's taken everything into the equation and thought moving on is the best thing. That's simply the case.
Yeah, I think going down to England as well, I know he'll have a good budget down there. I know the chairman very well at MK Dons. It's a good club. They're in a position at the moment where they need leadership. They haven't won at home for 10 games, so they need someone to come in, pick them up, get them organised, and they will move up the table. They're ambitious. They want to be back in that championship, and they've got a good budget. It's a good place, so it's not a bad move, although they are 2 points above the relegation area. They just need someone to just take the club by the scruff of the neck. I think he'll do that. He'll do that.
And can I just say, Darryl, I'm down here pitchside with big, tough Terry Butcher, and he's wearing gloves.
Yeah, and talk about a statement. That's a statement scarf Chris is wearing there tonight as well.
Is it a picnic blanket?
Might be a neck brace, but anyway, yes. Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
Isn't that a bonus? We just made Chris disappear. Can we do that more often?
Yeah, absolutely. Gentlemen, we can hear from Robbie Neilson now, the Hearts head coach. This should be interesting with Ailey Barber.
Well, Robbie, it's been a bit of an unusual week and build up to this match. What's the atmosphere been like in the dressing room and amongst the players as you prepare for this one?
Yeah, the atmosphere's been great. We've prepared properly. The focus is solely on the game tonight, and that's the way it should be.
I'm just going to come out and ask you outright, Robbie, is this your last match as Hearts manager?
the focus just now is not on me at all. It's about those 11 guys out there. So it's important that we focus solely on that. That's what I've focused on the whole time. So I'm not going to speak about that at the moment. It's important that we just focus on that, as I've said, and that's what I'm going to do.
Has that been hard to do though, given?
No, not at all. The preparation is exactly the same as it's always been. The players are ready. They're in good condition, ready to go, and hopefully get 3 points.
Reports suggest that you've agreed personal terms with MK Dons. Can you elaborate at all on the situation?
No, like I said, it's not about me at the moment. It's about 11 guys going to win a football match for Hearts, and that's what it's got to be about just now.
It is a big game tonight. What will you say to the players as they head out there? It's under the lights, it's against Rangers, and the last time Rangers were here, of course, you lifted the championship title, so good memories of playing them here.
Yeah, fantastic memories. It's a full house again tonight, which is great, as it's been all season, and it's a great chance for the players to go and enjoy the game. There's not many opportunities to play in such a good stadium under floodlights like this in front of a fantastic crowd, so the players are ready, I'm ready, and we're ready to go.
Thanks so much, Robbie.
Cheers, thanks.
Well, you can understand why he doesn't want to talk about the issue right now, but the players out there must be thinking what's happening to their manager. It's a tough situation, Michael.
Of course it is. Now, I can understand Robbie's trying to turn the focus onto the game, but the fact is that the focus has not been on the game. And I just go back to the point that I think it's been handled shambolically from the club, releasing a statement, a simultaneous statement with MK Dons on the Monday when there wasn't really any chat about it. This could easily have been kept under wraps until after the game, and then the focus would have been on this game.
From Robbie Neilson's point of view though, ahead of that victory against Motherwell at the weekend, things weren't going all that well, and I seem to remember there was some booing in his direction when they played Inverness recently. Not all the fans seem to be in love with him right now, so maybe he felt a good offer has come in, it's time to go.
I certainly think it's a situation where he doesn't feel he's appreciated for the job that he's done. I think that's 100%. I think, being a town boy, I stay in a town, I speak to a lot of jambos, and every second one you pass likes him, every other one doesn't. So I think it's certainly a mixed appreciation for the job that he's done, and I think that'll frustrate Robbie, because looking from an outside, not being a jambo, I think he's done a terrific job.
You've spoken to them, and we can hear from the Hearts fans right now on this issue.
Well, I'm disappointed that he is moving to MK Dons.
Yeah, I was really surprised, to be honest with you.
This season, I think consistency's been a wee bit of a problem, but apart from that, I can't really fault him.
What he done last season and what he's done now he's done more than what you can ask him to do.
We've got to change our manager. Time's right for everybody.
Paul Hartley, a very good servant for Hartlepool Road, and has a better style, probably a better style of attacking football than even Neilson has.
Would see it being maybe another ex-player with Presley or Hartley, but preferably I would want Ian Capital.
Probably go along with all the media reports and saying Ian Capital.
I've got an open mind and trust in Craig Levein. Let's see, let's roll the dice and see what happens.
Well, those fans are clearly already looking to the future, some of them, and you can't blame them, because it looks as if tomorrow or the next day they're going to have to name a new manager. Maybe Craig Levein will step in to the post in the immediate aftermath of all this, but whoever they get next, obviously they're going to have to work under this regime, under this structure, with Levein working above the manager again. And there's some names we've already seen. Stephen Presley, who's available right now, the clear favourite for the job.
I think ex-players always come into the reckoning just because of the association with the football club. Ian Cathro's a strange one for me, Dial. He's never managed in his life. He's never managed senior players on his own. He's reportedly to be this unbelievable coach who's going to completely change football. The sooner he gets the job from me, or a job, the better. So we can actually see what he's all about as a coach. It's okay working as a number two, but when you're the guy on the firing line, you're the guy that's to make decisions every single day. It's completely different than being someone in the background. And he's been getting this big promotion, and he's this and he's that. Let's see him come to the fore then, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else. Let's put it to bed. If he comes and does well, terrific. And that's nothing against him personally, but the amount of journalists who talk about this guy as as someone who's going to do something completely different off the face of the earth that's never happened in football before, load of nonsense. He's either a good coach or he's not. Put him on the firing line, let's see what he's got.
You put him right in the firing line there, that's for sure. Who would you like to see come in if this is done and dusted?
Well, I think that my personal experience of Stephen Presley is that he's a leader, he's somebody that knows the game very well, but I'm unsure whether he would step into this position with having somebody like Craig Levein above him. Stephen Presley's obviously got a good relationship with Craig, but he's very much his own man, and if he was to come in here and be undermined, then I'm not sure it's something that he would take on. But if all things being equal, I think that Stephen Presley would be a fantastic guy to be manager of the club.
Paul Hartley and Tom May Wright maybe fall into that bracket as well. Maybe they'd want to do it all by themselves here if they were to get the job.
I think that's the way. I think the bigger the character, the bigger manager with the bigger CVs, potentially not going to want to come in and work under Craig Levein. I think Paul would fall into that bracket. I think if he was to come at the football club, he would expect full reign. you're expected to do things the way he wants, and looking from an outside, that doesn't seem to be the case.
OK, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Plenty more to be said and done about that issue tonight. Next up, though, we'll hear from Rangers man of the moment, Joe Dodoo, the match winner against Partick Thistle at the weekend. His thoughts on the way shortly. Welcome back. This weekend it's the second round of the FA Cup live in BT Sport. On Sunday, Curzon Ashton of the National League North take on League One AFC Wimbledon. That's Sunday 11:30 on BT Sport 1. And then on Monday night it's Lincoln, who are going very well in the National League, against Oldham. That one will include the third round draw live from the BT Tower in London. There's a cup tie feel about this one tonight here at Tynecastle. Rangers in town to try to close the gap on Celtic at the top of the table and pull clear of both Aberdeen and Hearts, who are just behind them. The Jambos, though, have eyes on second place this evening, and a victory here would mean they'd be in that spot at the end of the night. The race for European places is red hot. It means every point matters. Mark Warburton's men had to thank Joe Dodoo for getting 2 extra points at the weekend. The rescue Ranger spoke to Ailey Barber.
Joe Dodoo!
Well, Joe, it's been a pretty good weekend for you, coming off the bench, scoring a couple of goals.
To come on and get 2 goals is fantastic for the team. Obviously, to get 3 points in a difficult game is always the best feeling, for the team to kick on. It's important to, obviously, when you get your chance to play, that you got to take it and try and make that position your own, basically. So it's always important to make sure you're alert and get a job done and keep you fresh in the manager's mind.
How frustrating was it getting that injury?
Yeah, it was very frustrating because I thought I came here and got a very good start, scored a couple goals, and then to get my chance against Kilmarnock and just get injured after 15 minutes is so frustrating. It sets me back about 5 weeks, and you got to look at it in a positive way all the time, even though it's frustrating. But now I'm back, I'm fully fit now, and I'm ready to go.
You also came here with a Premier League winners' medal in your bag. Did that add a little bit of extra pressure in a way?
It's no pressure at all with me. I don't really look at it that way. I love playing football, and the pressure's on no matter what game you're playing every day. So I think you have to come here and you have to deliver performances. It's a big club and they expect nothing less than a win and a performance. So I think you just have to be ready to come and play here and really deliver 3 points and performances week in, week out.
It seemed to be such a close dressing room at Leicester, and the success, I suppose, showed that. How do things compare here at Rangers?
We've got similar here. All the lads are close. First day I came in, they made it really easy for me because they're really similar to Leicester. Everyone's together, everybody knows each other, everybody would do anything for anyone. So the togetherness made it easy for me, and the way they welcomed me is so similar to where Leicester is, that everybody talks to everybody. So it made it so easy for me to settle in and become one of them straight away, and I'm very thankful for them for that.
You were very young when you signed at Leicester. Where did your love of football begin? Was it back in Ghana, or was it when you moved here to the UK? We play football every day in Ghana. It's just what we love to do. Sometimes it doesn't matter about the ball. You just get anything and you just play. And then to come here and see the setup here makes it even better. To know that you can go and play football whenever you want here, and it's fantastic. But back home is definitely where the love of football came from. You say Ghanaians really breathe football because it's all we know, if I'm being honest. Growing up, all I know is football. And if the local teams are playing and someone scores, you can hear the whole city just roaring from the goal celebration, which is fantastic for a young player like me to experience that when I was younger, because it just makes you love the game even more.
Well, given his performance at the weekend off the bench, 2 goals that got Rangers, a big 3 points, Kevin, was an absolute must that Mark Warburton put him into the starting line-up here?
Yeah, I think so. I think reading between the lines, he's been training really well. I watched him come on as a sub against Dundee as well, and he put some terrific balls into the box. He's obviously done the same again last week. He's come on and got his 2 goals, and when you're a substitute, you have to try and make an impact to try and push your way into the team.
Does he look like the answer through the middle, Michael?
I'm not convinced. But, in relation to did he have to put him in, I think if the fact that he scored 2 goals and won the game, if he wasn't going to be playing today, then when was he going to play? Yeah. So, it's a great opportunity for him now. You heard him there saying that he was very disappointed, obviously, picking up the injury after 15 minutes against Kilmarnock. So, he seems like a really nice guy. He's got his opportunity here. I've not been convinced with him from what I've seen before. he's certainly got a good opportunity tonight to try
Mark
and convince
Warburton
me.
He's been very defensive of Joe Garner this week, saying he deserves time, but he's on the bench here.
Yeah, it was a strange one, the fact he was, he was backing Joe yesterday, which is natural from a manager to back a player, but to back a player in a press conference and not put him in the side makes it a little bit strange. So he's naturally just showing Joe's support. This stinks a little bit of desperation for me. He just wants to get goals. He's struggling to fit into the Rangers style of play, as people keep talking about. I think contrary to the reports, he did play as a lone striker for Preston. He didn't play in a front two, but it just doesn't seem to be breaking for him. Up in Scotland, particularly for Rangers and for Celtic, there's not as much space in the box. There's more defenders. People are more defensive. There's not as much space to make your runs and bring your A game. So he's still learning how Scottish football works and how he's going to adapt to himself. So be a huge disappointment for him, but big question marks over Dodoo for me. I think he has a lot to learn.
You have to wonder who is the answer then, because Martin Waghorn, who got 24 goals last season, all of a sudden is nowhere to be seen. He's on the bench again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Martin Waghorn's been a little bit inconsistent this season, but he is the one that I would go with. He's the one that I think has got the best potential out of them all. Joe Garner for me he's not hit the heights. You spend a lot of money on him. You spent 1.8 million, and I don't think he's a 1.8 million pound player. It's simple as that. And his all-round game doesn't look good enough, and he's not. I can understand they've tried to buy him to be that sort of plan B, but he's not good enough in himself to be the plan B, and the rest of the team isn't set up for a plan B. I think he's been a bad signing, and Martin Waghorn is the one player that I would say in that front third, that final third, who's actually capable of scoring a goal.
Okay guys, very big night here in Edinburgh, especially with so much focus on Robbie Neilson. You wonder what's going through the Hearts players' minds. It's possible that it's the manager's last game in charge. And up next we'll hear from the Rangers boss, Mark Warburton. Welcome back. Tynecastle is filling up. It's another sellout here. It's another massive match from Scotland on BT Sport. Hearts v Rangers gets our full attention tonight. The action's about 15 minutes away now, and if you've just joined us, here's an update on the team news. Hearts are unchanged from their 3-0 victory over Motherwell. That means Callum Patterson starts. He's recovered from a head knock in that game. Bjorn Jonsson scored twice in the win against the Steelmen, so he also keeps his place. He looks a real handful, 6 feet 5 inches. As for Rangers, 2 changes from the win at Firhill. Matt Crooks makes his first start for the club, with Josh Windus out injured once more, and Joe Dodoo leads the line after his brace against Thistle. It is a big opportunity for him. So much talk about Robbie Neilson here. Is it his last match for the club? It looks like it's going to be. We should reflect back on then what might be the penultimate game then. It was a 3-0 victory against Motherwell. It was a very good performance here as well. It was much needed, wasn't it, Stephen?
There was a sense around Tynecastle on Saturday when I was here that Robbie had eventually got the right formula. We got June playing in the number 10 role. Jonsson up front was allowed to play free. I mean, this one was just offside. He was very unfortunate. He probably should have had a hat-trick on the day, but he caused havoc because he was able to go and stretch the game, running in behind. His linked-up play was good, and all afternoon he was a threat. So I think, Robbie's eventually got it right. The players seemed to believe in what they were doing, and if I'm honest, there could have been more than 3.
With so much attention, Michael, on the strikers not scoring here, timely, wasn't it, that Jonsson popped up with 2?
Yeah, very timely, and Stephen says it could easily have been a hat-trick. I think it probably should have been. And Sam Zaman, they've been poor. Jonsson comes in, and any time I have seen him, he's looked impressive. He's scored 4 goals now. I think he's going to, cement his place as the main guy up front. And when you've got somebody up there that can put the ball in the back of the net, it takes a lot of pressure off the rest of the team as well.
Could be a big signing in the end if it turns out well, if he keeps on delivering like that.
Yeah, he certainly could. He looks really like a bit like Osmond Soul that used to be here, who the punters I'll relate to. He's a terrific player as well. He's big, he's robust, he looks as though he's fast as well. And just touching on a good ball through for Droom there, it's when you've got someone that runs in behind, it's really hard to defend against.
So they're scoring again. They've scored quite a few in recent weeks, but there's also an eye on their defence. Yes, they kept a clean sheet against Motherwell, but as you saw, 4 were cleared off the line, 3 from set pieces. And look, some of the defending has been shambolic in recent times, Stephen.
Well, they've been unconvincing to say the least. At times they've left themselves scrambling, and I think it's the most important bit. When you go and attack in a game, everyone else has got to switch on. John Suter thinks a quiet boy. Rossi is quiet. You need a leader back there sometimes. I mean, this is just comical. People getting caught under each other's feet, people not taking responsibility. And if you're a side who are going to go and push for that third and budge once or come for second, you have to go and defend properly, not winning first headers in the box. So you have to be better. That's too easy. A simple ball at the pitch, ball over the top, not winning the first, having to scramble and clear it off your line. If they defend like that tonight, Rangers will punish them.
There's an eye on Callum Patterson as well, because apparently Steve McLaren's here tonight, Derby manager, former England manager. He's been linked with him and linked with Perry Kitchen as well, and no wonder, because Callum could leave in January, Michael.
Yeah, well, obviously he's out of contract at the end of the season. He's somebody that's progressed through the ranks. He's now getting a game for the international team as well. And you talk about defensive side of things, though, he's much better going forward. He's a real attacking, athletic fullback. Best of his game is driving the team forward. So I think it's inevitable that he will leave the club, whether it is next summer or in January. But I think it'd have to be a pretty good financial package for the club to let him go.
MK Dons?
Well, I'm not sure. No.
Yeah, some banging off the weekend above his eye. Right, shall we hear from the Rangers manager now, Mark Warburton, with Ailey.
Well, Mark, a couple of changes for you tonight. A first start for Matt Crooks. How ready is he to get out there and make his first start?
No, he's impatient. He's worked hard on the 20s games. He's got his fitness back, desperate to play, and the injury to Josh Windass gives him that door tonight.
Joe Dodoo obviously came off the bench and made an impact last week. He's coming for Joe Garner. I know you spoke a bit in your press conference about some of the criticism that's come his way, but how is his confidence? How confident are you can call him from the bench?
Joe Garner, absolutely no, there's no problems with his confidence whatsoever. Joe started at most of the games. The first striker tends to set the heat. You know, there's all the hard work in that first hour and works the defenders, and substitutes come on and hopefully reap the reward. So tonight is Joe Dodoo starting. Joe Garner will be involved at some stage. No doubts about Joe Garner's ability, his confidence, and the fact they'll be a big hit at Rangers going forward.
It's a huge 10 days coming up for Rangers, Hearts twice, Aberdeen as well. How important is this period for you in setting down a marker to the rest of the Premier League and showing that you are a team that can be challenging up there?
It's important. It's an opportunity tonight to come to a tough venue, great atmosphere, and we're looking forward to a good playing service. We know we face a tough opponent tonight. We're looking forward to these games. We're on a good run, scored late goals, scored early goals, so we're looking forward to a good encounter tonight, but important 3 points for us to set us up for a good weekend clash with Aberdeen.
Thanks, Mark. All the best.
Pleasure. Thanks very much.
Rangers have won their last two matches, but late winners in both games. They've not been very convincing. And look, when you look at the rivals in the table, they've lost against Celtic, they've lost against Aberdeen. They can lay down a marker here.
Yeah, they certainly could. I think Mark and the players, I think the punters as well, they'll all be looking at these next three fixtures and thinking, if we're going to cement this second place, or a minimum in second place, then these next three games are vital.
Pivotal for Rangers right now, and for Hearts as well.
Yeah, it is a massive game for both clubs. You know, obviously, if Hearts win, they can go ahead of Rangers in the league. And as Kevin said, for Rangers, they want to put a marker down. And they've been beaten off Celtic, they've been beaten off Aberdeen. They want to come here to Tynecastle to show that they're going to challenge for that second place. So for both sides, a really big game tonight.
And given the comments of Dave King recently after the AGM as well, a little bit more pressure on the manager because he has to deliver European football. And if you read between the lines, it sounds like he's got to close the gap on Celtic, and that means finishing second.
I think the issue I have is that Rangers haven't been convincing to watch them play, and they have been winning games. They've won 5 of the last 7, which is good. However, it's the style of play people are looking at. But Mark Warburton, first and foremost, had the address winning games. These are the type of games that the Rangers fans and anybody who's associated with Rangers have missed. Coming to Tynecastle, a full house, blood and thunder, testing your resolve as a professional football player. These are the games you want to play in. Aberdeen at home on Saturday. Terrific game again. So this is going to be an absolute crack. I really can't wait to see what Rangers are all about and to see what Hearts are all about.
You'd have loved a game like this, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, apart from getting sent off after 30 minutes, I think last time I was here with Rangers. But look, these are the games you want to play, and it's a terrific atmosphere. The atmosphere is always amazing, and the punters are always right on top of you. And you're looking for cool heads tonight. I think Rangers are going to have to soak up a wee bit of pressure early on, but I think when they get a foothold in the game, then they'll be looking to try and capitalise and try and score some goals.
What a prospect, especially with the undercurrent of Robbie Neilson.
Of course, that's why I'm just astonished at the way it's been handled this week. It's a huge game. And, when you come to Tynecastle, it can be a real suffocating atmosphere for a visiting side, and that's what Hearts have got to try and do. They've got to try and get on the front foot, make an uneasy night for Rangers, because they've got a huge prize at the end of it of trying to take second place off of them.
OK, kick-off is fast approaching here. Hearts and Rangers about to renew an old rivalry. The game's live with us on BT Sport in just a few minutes' time.